This video is going to be very painful to make, so if you'll do me a favor, please give it a like and share it with your friends if you enjoy it. What's up gamers, Dreamcastguy here, and today we're going to be diving into one of the worst games I've played this year. Yes, I'm being absolutely serious. This weekend I got a chance to play the Elder Scrolls Blades on Nintendo Switch, something that I'm a little bit mixed on. Now, in general, I consider myself a massive fan of the Elder Scrolls series. I've played a bunch of them, but specifically, Elder Scrolls V, Skyrim, was a tremendously inspirational game for me. I ended up putting hundreds and hundreds of hours into this game, and then rebuying it on every single console I could. I even tracked down the super rare Ultimate Edition strategy guide that has 2 separate bookmarks just so I can make sure I was doing everything. But once I was done with this game, I actually decided to backtrack and start checking out the other aspects of the Elder Scrolls franchise. Things like the Elder Scrolls Online, which isn't necessarily my style of game, but I could understand what they were going for. Clearly, Bethesda realized that this is a series that has a lot of untapped potential. So what did they do with that? They shoved it on cell phones. Now, over the course of the last year, they've definitely been trying to do something special with Blades. The idea of having Skyrim in your pocket, little bite-sized adventures, is certainly intriguing, if not exactly the best functionality of such a great franchise. Well, now it's coming to consoles. And you know what the developers have been saying is that here on home systems, it'll finally be able to be its best. We'll finally get the big Elder Scrolls experience, except in Blades. That's a lie. This is bad. So I'm going to show you a bunch of gameplay here to really kind of demonstrate why specifically the Elder Scrolls Blades actually gets worse when it's played with a controller. So everything you're seeing here was filmed at QuakeCon 2019, and they sort of just let me play through this demo a couple times. It was a handheld one and a docked one, and I basically set my camera up as best I could in their super teeny tiny booth to try and film the action. Now what you're seeing here is me sort of walking around a forest level, one of the randomized dungeons. So one of the main aspects of playing through Elder Scrolls Blades is trying to get different materials, things like metal, steel, wood, and the points of these is upgrading cities and upgrading your character, being able to basically craft different stuff for your society or your character himself. As I was playing this though, I noticed that they certainly had to strangely make some sacrifices in order for it to operate on this. Like one of the aspects that is in the cell phone version is that in order to attack, you do different stuff on the screen. Since obviously it has to be a touch interface, you swipe your finger to do a slash of your sword or double slash or block, and then by tapping the screen you do different magics. The way it works in this version feels like trash. Essentially, you walk up and as soon as you get close to somebody, it locks your frame. You get stuck like this. You can't move the camera. It just centers in on a singular target, and then you get a chance to press attack or your magic. Now, what's really annoying about this is when you swing your sword, there is like a charge up. Essentially, the way it works is that I have to try and time when this guy is going to step towards me, that way I can beat him back. It feels terrible. After the first couple times of trying to slay these moving enemies who are constantly jumping forward and backwards for some stupid reason, I ended up just using magic on everybody because the combat feels terrible. While you're doing these attacks, basically what it is your left controls, instead of being for a camera or for your body motions, those become for your spells, and your right controls, which are, X, A, B, Y, these are used for your different manual attacks. It is so bizarre. Now, obviously, this is a demo, which means that they gave me a very high-level character and very low-level enemies, just as a way of sort of explaining the combat without it being too challenging. But already, it is so impossible for me not to imagine a giant encounter like this. If I was actually playing this demo and there were multiple enemies at once trying to hunt me down, it would be so aggravating to try and fight them like this. What is the point? Now, Elder Scrolls Blades in general is supposed to be simplistic. It's supposed to be something that you just play for 3 or 5 minutes at a time, but playing through this 10-minute demo, I already can just see how annoying it's going to be on consoles. You cannot play this like a serious gamer. You cannot. It is impossible. It is beyond the pale, which is what frustrates me about it. I like the fact that there's little hidden secrets, there's little tiny hidden gems and stuff you can pick up, but this is so obviously a sloppily ported cell phone game, which is something I believe should never be on Nintendo Switch. Look, you can say what you want about the Switch. You could say that it's underpowered, you can say that the battery life of the current version isn't spectacular, but at the end of the day, we have to just admire the logical fact that the Switch is selling because of its games. The Nintendo Switch has a very hardcore demographic of people who just want to pick stuff up and play it at home and on the go. This game, Blades, is something else entirely. It is something that is meant to try and annoy you enough to get you to pay more money. Oh, you want to go on extra adventures? That'll be a microtransaction. Oh, do you want some more supplies to upgrade your character or your city? That'll be a microtransaction. But additionally, even though this will be free to play, because I know some people are going to go, bro, it's just free, it doesn't matter. I feel like it poisons the water. It basically waters down the Elder Scrolls name and sort of just opens up the floodgates for possibly having more very shoddy, very sloppy games coming over to the Nintendo Switch. More stuff like this, more cell phone games being thrown on here. I did not enjoy this demo whatsoever, but what really aggravated me about it is just that specifically, they could have done this right. I mean, if you decided to make a completely free-to-pay model of a game like Skyrim, like let's just be super crazy and just throw out a hypothetical right here, an analogy if you will. Basically, what if they decided to make a version of Skyrim that allows you to play for 1 hour every day? You can log in, you can explore, but the timer begins as soon as you leave town. This gives you the ability to go on small quests, explore some little crypts, or maybe get to read a book in a dungeon if you'd like. But additionally, it still provides that flavoring of it. After the end of the hour, it basically says, hey, do you want to pay the full $30 to have Skyrim right now? That to me is a demo with incentivization. It is something that basically gives you pieces of the adventure while also sort of expanding itself. It just seems like Elder Scrolls Blades is something else in that it's only existing for the heavy monetization efforts. This does not feel like it's even trying to be fun. It doesn't care about fun. It doesn't care about actually being Elder Scrolls. I mean, if we're just being serious here for a second, I love this franchise. I think it's great. Even in things like VR, I'm actually somebody who really doesn't care for VR very much. I understand its potential, but when I put on the headset, I'm just not really enjoying myself as much as some gamers do. But when I'm playing Skyrim in VR, I get it. I understand what they're trying to do, what it's trying to be, how it wants to actually step forward into a different evolution. The Elder Scrolls Blades is easily the worst Nintendo Switch game I've ever played, simply because it's not fun. It is not pleasurable. It is a clunky little cash grab. The worst aspect of this, though, is that I do believe that it might make some profit. This is something that somebody is going to install. As I was standing there, just over there in the demo booth, trying to play this thing a couple times over, it was so obvious that kids were already lining up. Kids are thinking, oh, this is a free Skyrim. Oh, this is like a little game I can play on my Switch at home. And I feel like that is the stuff that bothers me, is games that are so centered on microtransactions, that are just so annoyingly free to play, end up garnering just the fringes demographic, the people who just spend money without realizing they're spending money. Now, I'm not exactly accusing them of stuff, I'm just saying that Elder Scrolls Blades could have been good, it could have been great, it could have been something special, and instead it's just going to be a crappier version of Elder Scrolls. Look, Bethesda, let me just make one tiny suggestion. Clean it up. You guys are great. You're super smart. Look how much you've managed to overhaul the Elder Scrolls Online. ESO has dramatically shifted its tone, its content, and its storytelling over the course of the last couple of years to win a giant audience. And I think that that is extremely commendable. It shows that you have your ear to the ground and you're not afraid of some very direct feedback. Well, this is me trying to talk exactly to you since I know your people watch my videos. People want to play Elder Scrolls. People want to buy Elder Scrolls. Skyrim and Oblivion are still some of the highest selling Steam games of all time, even years after their release. So I'm just saying, if you manage to change the general focus of Elder Scrolls Blades to be more true to the spirit of the franchise, you're going to make more money because more people will end up loving it. But these have just been my off-the-cuff thoughts after playing this demo, and I hope you enjoyed this gameplay. I obviously had to film it in a little bit of a weird manner, just because the spot that it was set up was kind of inconvenient. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like. Tell me what you think of Elder Scrolls Blades in the comments down below, and do me a big favor and subscribe. But the biggest favor I need you to do is keep dreaming. Oh my gosh, when this game comes out, don't even install it. Please, I'm literally begging you, don't install this game. Oh God. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.